I sold my soul. So I took that fancy corporate job in New York City, and I started in January of 2018, and everything changed. I went from that beautiful summer, writing in the morning, pool in the afternoon, hanging out with my friends in the evening. I went from a fantastic fall with the kids in school, doing Halloween, being around them all the time. Suddenly, everything changed, and I got up at 6:30 in the morning. I actually had to hire somebody to get my kids up and put them on the bus because I couldn't be there to do it. I'd work all day in New York City. I'd come back home and my kids would already be in bed. I never got to see them. And it was a real shock to the system. I truly felt like I'd sold my soul to the devil. It was like the only thing this job had cost me was everything. And it was rough for me, and it was rough for my kids. My middle child, he'd been doing really great in school up until that point, and then suddenly he never saw Daddy, and his grades plummeted, and he was having behavioural issues, and we were getting emails all the time from his teachers. It was rough. And every single day I would wake up and I'd be like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? And I mean, of course, the paycheck was telling me I was doing the right thing, but the way my kids were acting, the way I was feeling, it felt like I had made a deal with the devil. But I will tell you this, I have never committed to a job like I committed to this one. I think part of it was I'd been laid off the summer, and I kind of needed to prove something to myself that, you know, I was like, oh, if corporate America laid me off, I'll show corporate America I will be the best employee they've ever had. So I really committed to this job like you have never ever seen in my entire life. Every single side hustle and distraction, well, almost every single side hustle and distraction I gave up. Get up in the morning, I would be focused on this job all day, every day, and I was kicking butt at it. Everyone was like, Roland, you're doing an amazing job. That felt good. Everything else felt wrong. But I'll tell you what, I say I gave up everything. There was one little thing I clung to. So my middle kid, that adorable little kid, he had this little purple laptop with monster truck stickers on and stuff. So I used to take that with me on the train every morning, and I'd be sitting crammed up next to people. And every single day on the hour-and-a-half train ride into New York City, I would be typing a story. And every single day on the train ride back, I'd be typing a story. I said to myself, look, if I'm going to do this, the only thing I'm going to grant myself is just to keep on writing. Because if I didn't keep on writing, I swear to God, I would go insane. And I'd finished Trigger, and Trigger's doing well, so I knew that I was onto something with this whole idea of adventure stories written as romance books. And that moment in publishing MC romance, Motorcycle Club romance books were really popular. So I said, I shall write a motorcycle romance book. And of course, me being me, I didn't necessarily go and read a ton of motorcycle romance books to research them, because I wanted to write a book that was close to me. So I invented this motorcycle club called the Knuckleheads. It was more like the A-Team on motorcycles than an actual motorcycle club. I had this love story between this wonderfully fragile, vulnerable, strong heroine and this guy who was undercover, who was really racked with self-doubt, and I felt like it was almost a metaphor for what I was going through. We had a hero who was an FBI agent riding with a motorcycle club, but of course the closer he got to the motorcycle club, the more he was feeling like he was betraying them by keeping his undercover secret, just like I was feeling like I was betraying who I was by putting on a suit every day and going to New York City. And as I wrote it, I held nothing back, because what was the point? I mean, at this point, my dreams of being a writer were on hiatus. I had made the sensible decision. I was doing the right thing. And throughout the day, I was dedicating myself to work. So this book was literally the only thing that kept me sane. The only thing that made me feel like who I actually was. Because everything else, every single other aspect of myself, I felt I'd sold. I felt like I'd sacrificed it on the altar of security and safety. But you know what? Making the safe decision, the sensible decision, sometimes isn't the safe or sensible decision at all. My wife works in a hospital, and when I decided to take this job, which she very much encouraged me to do, because she encouraged me to take the safe, sensible option, because she's not a writer, so she doesn't get writing, she doesn't hear the sound of trumpets like I do. we said, okay, if we ever need to stay at home because of the kids, we'll do it 50-50. If, you know, if the kids, if I had to stay home with the kids one day, you stay home with the kids the next time. If you stay at home with the kids one day, I'll stay at home with the kids the next day. And one day during my first month in this new job in New York City, all three of my kids came down with like 105-degree fevers. They were super sick. And my wife was working a double shift at the hospital. She literally couldn't leave because she'd be penalised. And I'd had corporate jobs before. I didn't think it was a big deal, so I was like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna have to work from home today because my kids are sick. And so I worked from home that day. And when I say I worked from home, I like literally worked from home. My kids were all lying on the couch watching cartoons, and so I got up from 8 a.m. in the morning till 10 o'clock that night. I worked from home, sending emails and things like that. And the next day, my wife was off so she could look after the kids. I went into New York City. I arrived nice and bright and early. I was in the office at 8 a.m. My colleagues said hi. My boss was like, hey, let's go and talk to our boss in her office. And I didn't think anything of it. I was smiling. I was looking forward to doing the best that I could do that day. And what happened was, I got fired. I don't think I've ever spoken about this before. I got fired. I got brought into the office not expecting anything, not thinking anything, and they sat me down and were like, we don't have a work from home policy. And then the big boss of the department was like, we don't have a work from home policy, so is this likely to happen again, because this is going to be a problem? And I told her the truth. Yes, this is likely to happen again, because I have 3 kids and they are my priority. And I was fired that same day, that morning. Within 15 minutes of saying that, I was escorted out of the building. It was the first month of my job. I haven't even completed that month. And in New York City, they have a no-fault thing. If it's the first month, you're on probation. It's, you know, if it doesn't work out, you're at the door. You get paid for all of the work you've done to that point. No severance, no notice, no nothing. And I stood on Park Avenue outside that building, and I called my wife, and I was just like, I just got fired. I've never been fired before in my life. I've never been fired before in my life. And I had given up everything for that job. I had no savings. I had no backup plan. I had nothing. I was screwed. I had played it safe. I had done the sensible thing. I had done the right thing, and I had lost everything.